How about new?
I give it 6 Nick Cages out of 10. I want to give it 4. No, it's getting a 6. But it's a shaky 6. Now, full disclosure, I walked into this movie as a moderate fan of the video game. So when I say moderate, I mean that I played through it twice, and I don't really remember that much about it, outside of the fact that I liked it, I remember the monster design, and I remember Peter Stormare. Though personally, I'm much more of a curator guy. The movie version of Until Dawn follows 5 friends on a cross-country dead sister tour. As you do, this leads to them getting stuck inside of a time loop a la Groundhog Day or Edge of Tomorrow, where they quickly find out that the goal is to survive until dawn.
There it is!
Now, I was curious, how are they going to make a long video game with branching paths and lots of interaction and make that a 90-minute non-interactive movie? And I think that making it a time loop film is a fun way to keep the spirit of the original medium while at the same time switching things up. It's like Scum Save the movie. So as a result of this time loop, we get lots of deaths, which is a good thing, and we get lots of character drama and arguing, which would be a good thing if I gave a shit about the characters. Which I don't. Actually, I kind of liked Megan. I don't know why she was psychic, but she was likable. I didn't want her to die. But most of the time, it just felt like I was watching a less compelling version of the OC. California. Good topical reference, and I'm sure everyone will remember that show. When we were leaving the movie, the people in front of us were kind of shit-talking the actors. I don't think that's fair. I think the performances are fine. Some of them are pretty good. It's not their fault that their characters have the depth of a puddle. And maybe if they had made them like more archetypical, like they took the film a little less serious, then they wouldn't need the depth because they could be caricatures and that would be more fun. But that's not what they were going for. I guess they were going for realistic characters, and realistically, most of us are boring. Were I to graph my experience of watching Until Dawn in the theater, it would look something like this. The opening is stock standard. Maybe a little too heavy on clunky exposition, but otherwise standard. It's got some bland characters, usual setup. It's got the classic tension build that would be effective if it's like your, I don't know, second horror film you've ever seen, but if you've seen more than a few, it falls a little flat. But that's fine. One of my favorite horror films of all time, The Cabin in the Woods, it has the exact same opening before it goes balls to the wall. Until Dawn doesn't commit to that. It goes one ball to the baseboard. What's worse is that it makes you feel like the movie is about to get really good. I don't know why this is getting good. Take off, maybe? The sequences that follow directly after the 5 friends figuring out they're in a time loop, they're awesome. They do have variety. They have really creepy imagery. And there's one particular loop that, it was my favorite part of the movie. And judging by the way the rest of the theater erupted, it was their favorite part of the movie too. It might have been worth seeing for that moment in the theater, honestly. But I can't recommend it because then the rest of the movie happened. Lots of discussions about the power of friendship, metaphorical journeys about grief, something heart of the cards. Watching this film was like having a standard foreplay session, followed by the most sumptuous of your life. And then that's followed by vanilla mediocre sex. Like, can we just go back to the Can't use that metaphor. Since I'm on the negative Nancy train, let's keep it chugging. You know what you do a lot of in Until Dawn, the video game? Walk around slowly, looking at things, waving a flashlight. You know what you watch people doing in this movie? The same thing. Don't get me wrong, it's competently done. The shots, the cinematography, the lighting, the creature design, the jump scares, they're great. And in another more basic horror film, you know what, maybe that would have been enough. The biggest sin of this film, to me, is that it doesn't capitalize on its premise. This is why I want to give it 4 Nick Cages and not 6, even though I think it's objectively better than that. I want to ding it points for hurting my heart with wasted potential. And I know a thing or two about wasted potential. Where's the montage of fun and creative deaths? Okay, technically there is one, and I actually really like how they frame it. but it's way too short and it lacks variety. Where's the accumulation of knowledge, the butterfly effects where characters piece together various bits of information or tools that will allow them to tackle this puzzle clock of death? And if you care about it, there are nods to the video game, but they're nods in name only. Like, they have Wendigos, but I mean, you might as well call them zombies. They don't have any of the Wendigo lore that, to me, made them compelling in the game. But pivoting from the game is not a flaw. That's a choice. And it's a choice I'm glad they made. You know, the slurry of video game adaptations that are coming down the pipe to replace superhero movies, they are going to need to learn quickly that a 2-hour uninteractive medium cannot hope to compete with a 10+ hour customizable experience, and therefore shouldn't even try. The flaw of Until Dawn is not that it's different than its source material. The flaw of Until Dawn, in my opinion, is that it does two things mediocrely when it should have done one thing greatly. If you can be fun, creative, ridiculous, while at the same time having characters we root for with a lot of depth and emotional resonance, by all means do it. Other horror films have pulled that off. First one that comes to my head is The Final Girls. Really creative, really fun, and I tear up at the end. Other people don't like that movie. I think it's really good. But if you can't pull it off, which is kind of stupid, because how would you ever know you can't pull it off unless you try? Regardless, just stick to one. Be the serious, metaphorical, overcoming grief, dramatic, scary horror film with characters who have a lot of depth, or be the fun, zany, creative scenario, good time horror film. If you made it this far, sincere thanks for watching. And if you saw the movie yourself, let me know what you thought. Will this be another Longlegs where it's very polarizing? Or will most people fall on my end of the spectrum where it was, you know, it was fine. It had some good pieces. They just couldn't quite make them fit. Oh, and Peter Stormare is awesome. I wish he had been in much more of the movie. This film is no log jamming.
Hello, meine dispatcher says there's something wrong with deine Kabel.
Yeah, come on in. I'm not really sure exactly what's really wrong with the cable.
That's why they sent me, I am an expert.